But let's get into the next topic, and we're talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder and if we should be worried about them. Russ saying it's not time to panic. He said it's early on in the season. He said we'll be better, so I'm not worried. So Russ saying that they should be fine. Obviously, making the trades for Carmelo Anthony and Paul George haven't really yielded that many results right now. I think 3 straight losses for the Thunder right now, and they currently have a 4-6 record. So should we be worried about the Oklahoma City Thunder?
No, and I'm going to say this being the cockiest Dave I can be. I told you so. I told you this team would struggle early on.
Well, did anyone say that they weren't?
I think some people were bought into their first couple of wins.
See, I wasn't here for the Melo trade.
All right.
I was away. I think it was at Riot Fest. I wasn't here. I wasn't able to talk to you guys about it, so I don't remember what you and Ricky said.
Whatever. You didn't hear it. But I did say it because I was afraid of how this team would work together with those 3 on the court at the same time. Like, it's a different dynamic than bringing together a big 3 of, LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. It's different than putting together big 3s that already existed.
They also didn't work together, though. Remember the start of that? I mean, they had to call in Spoelstra. Everyone thought Spoelstra was going to fire it. I mean, they're like, oh, everyone, you have all of these 3, huge stars, and it's not working. Fire Spoelstra, bring in Pat Riley to coach the team, and then you just needed time. So you're just saying you need a little bit of time.
You need a little time. Let it simmer. Let it build together. Because look, the big complaint right now, I think, is the offense is not gelling together correct. The way they want to. It's stagnant. I've seen out there. Honestly, it's just the fact they need to learn when each one is feeling it and feed that guy because. I almost want to be like, what worked for you when you played together last? It was the Olympics, and it was very much a relaxed game. It's a different game. Like the Olympics, Hoodie Mellow, all that fun stuff is fun. Regular season, different game. Playoffs, totally different game. So they've got to put it together and seriously consider, like, all right, tonight, who's feeling it? So far this season, it has been Paul George, not on a consistent basis. He has been the odd man out. Melo's looked rejuvenated, which is awesome.
Yep.
Russ at times has looked like himself last year. At times has looked like his bad self from the KD days when he was getting a little greedy, I'll say. But the problem is outside of those 3, how does the team function? How do you do substitutions? How do you balance that team and that bench and make sure that they don't go -10 in 14 minutes,
And the one thing I want to bring up, at least with Russ, and I think this is something that he's got to learn with, and you mentioned it, it's kind of, I don't want to say selfishness, but it's at least distributing the ball. You look at, in his wins, he has 55 assists. You look at his losses, and there's more losses than wins, so I mean, they played 4 more games where they've won and 6 more games where they've lost. 55 assists in the wins, and then 54 assists in losses.
So in 2 additional games, he got -1 assist.
Yes, -1 assist. So it's just something that he's got to pass the ball more. You also look at the usage ratings in those games, 29.7% in those wins, 33 in the losses. So you can just tell that it's. I'm not saying it's all on Russ, but I think it's just more of a growing period for at least Russ there. But I'm still a little bit worried because you look at their losses. 5 of them, they're 0-5 against the Western Conference. That includes the Kings. So that's something that does worry me because even though there's need to be a gelling here, they're not stepping up at the right time. Great, you went 4-1 against the Eastern Conference. You're not playing them in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs.
You get a gold sticker for that one.
That's something that worries me, and I think that's something that obviously is going to take time. And playoffs are a long way away. There are only 10 games into the season. You still got 72 left. But it's something that worries me because if you're not able to gain that confidence quick enough, we know that Carmelo can be a guy that's super toxic in the locker room. We know that Paul George was pretty toxic back in Indiana, and if he gets to that point where he's like, oh fuck it, I'm done with this team. Like we're not going to be good.
Like I catch you in LA.
I'm leaving. Yeah, catch you in LA. And Russ, I mean, even though he has re-signed, he is a guy that's saying this is my team, and if he wants to be the guy with the ball in his hands, they're paying him money for the next 5 years. So Russ is going to get what he wants, and Russ is going to be catered to his needs. So I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but I'm saying that is something that I could see happening in the long run, and that's how I could see, worrying setting in. I don't think you should be worrying right now because, again, it's only 10 games, but I feel like at some point there's got to be a turnaround. I feel like it's got to be on Russ's shoulders to at least say, hey, I need to pass the ball more. I need to get these guys at least into the game plan a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And the question there is because Russ feels like it's on his shoulders, he does the opposite of what you expect him to. He puts it on his shoulders and he keeps the ball in his hands. He feels like he needs to play hero ball more so than, get the ball spread around, make sure everybody's involved, and make sure that you have a balanced plan of attack. Make sure that everybody's involved and engaged in the game because otherwise you get people taking plays off on defense. You see repercussions of that on both sides of the court. So when you have people who aren't involved, they're going to take plays off. They're going to not care as much. and they're going to feel demotivated. Like, it's just a matter of making sure that he is the floor commander that he needs to be. And, I mean, if he dragged a trash team last year to the playoffs,
yeah,
like, there is no excuse that this team cannot grow over this year and make it in the playoffs.
Well, and at least with the usage across the board, I mean, when you look at in their wins, 29 usage for Melo, 27 for Paul George, and I think 29 for Russ as well.
Right.
So, I mean, those are pretty even out when you look at the usage ratings. And I feel like once you get those guys combined and together, that is at least, going to at least yield in positive results. At least looking out on the floor, though, in the first 10 games, what have you liked from those three out on the floor? And do you think that there is enough there to be positive about what we've seen so far?
I mean, the easy takeaway is Russ is still putting up close to triple-double numbers on a stat sheet. I mean, that doesn't really display what he's doing on the floor, but
also
it's
doesn't
nice.
mean shit.
Right. I mean, why are we saying triple-double is good all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Melo's at least back to giving a fuck, which is amazing because watching Melo, like, wear away in New York and just, he was a shell of himself at the end. He didn't care. And it's been hilarious to watch their turnaround and positiveness without him there. Him and OKC to start the season, loving it. Like, he is back, he is all in, and he's actually playing really, really high-level basketball. The big question to me is, back to Paul George, I don't understand, like, his lack of a fit on this team. We talked about how much of an excellent catch-and-shoot player he was and his time in Indiana, but so far this season, not been as successful. I don't know if it's like he needs to get in his groove before he gets there. Maybe I'm just guessing in the dark.
Well, really, I mean, the stats pretty much tell the thing. Again, in losses, he's shooting 33% from the field. In wins, he's shooting 33% from three. In wins, he's shooting 48% from three. He's scoring 19 points a game.
Yeah.
It's really just about getting these guys involved. And I think one thing that they've gone away from, at least too much, is you look at the wins. Russ is averaging a triple-double, and we saw the magic and the secret sauce last year. It was Russ grabs the rebounds, let's push and transition.
Yeah.
I feel like that was working for them. And I feel like when they go away from that a little bit, Russ tries to play hero ball, or Paul George starts it and tries to lead the transition in the fast break offense. That's not working for him. When Melo tries to do it, it's not working for them. I feel like Russ needs to be that catalyst, and he needs to be smart with his decision-making a little bit more. And now I'm looking a little bit at Billy Donovan, not saying he should be fired or anything, but it's something that I do look at him and saying, hey, this is when you step in and say, hey, this is what we need to fucking do. And right now, at least a little bit later, we're recording this on Thursday, they're going to be taking on the Nuggets, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do in that game and how they do push forward. But then again, that's only one game. There's 71 games after that, and they got to keep this a little bit more consistent. So looking at it, just final thoughts on this. Looking at playoffs, are you a little bit more weary to at least push the Thunder a little deeper? Is this wavering your confidence, or like you said earlier, is this just what you expected and you feel like this team is too much talent really to be written off?
Too much talent to fail, too big to fail. But there's no bench. It's going to take time for them to find their way to transition people in and out of the lineup. That's the biggest problem in my mind right now, is mixing up, if George is off, is Westbrook and Melo going to be out there? How do you run offensive sets with one of their big three missing? They don't have that figured out yet.
If they do go for a trade, because we've seen Sam Presti ball out on trade deadlines, we've seen him just ball out in general.
Yeah.
What is this piece that the team needs? Because obviously they got rid of Cantor. He's no longer on the team, and that was a big part of their success last year. There's not a lot of bench scoring.
I think they need a combo guard, somebody who is comfortable distributing the ball. The problem is those usually don't come super cheap. You might be able to get somebody like, honestly, if Detroit bombs out this year, if you can get Ish for a deal, he's like one of the best backup point guards in the league. I think that would be amazing for them. The problem is they've used so much of their capital to get these guys in. I don't know what they can get back value-wise, so there are some names out there for backup point guards. You don't have one right now. You have Ray Felton. No. Just no. You need to get a combo guard. You need to get somebody who can come off that bench and let Russ take a breather and continue that offensive continuity.
We're calling you out, Raymond Felton. You and Sean May are bums.
Oh.
Fucking bums, 2005 Tar Heels.
I hate Sean May because of
that. For real.
Yeah.
Like, D. Brown was my favorite player. Those high white socks, I rocked those. And I
Yep.
looked super stupid in my basement shooting at a Little Tykes basketball hoop trying to be D. Brown. I will be the first one to admit that. But I agree with you. I think that the one thing they do need is scoring off this bench, because I think you see, they drafted Terrence Ferguson. I was going to say Tony Ferguson. He's a USC fighter. Terrence Ferguson, and he's been slow right now. You can tell he's a rookie. He has the ability to score, but I mean, asking that much from a rookie, I know that Boston's doing that right now, and we talked about them a little bit earlier, but that's different. They're being put into the situation to succeed where you can't really push it on Terrence Ferguson to be like, hey, you now need to be one of our secondary scorers. And I don't see a secondary scorer on that bench. You have 3 great scorers, and then I wonder, at least you talk about the lineups, maybe you do switch it around, but you're not going to be able to put Carmelo or Paul George
The problem
on
is
the
if
bench.
you have 2 of them on the bench at the same time, then you're just fucked.
But
like,
if those 2 are Paul George and Carmelo, I trust Russ, weirdly enough, because he showed us last year they could do that.
If Russ is not out there, that turns into the question of how does this team work?
And that's why I think I agree with you when you need a combo guard.
Yeah.
You at least need a
true point would be
guard.
great, but like I'm leaning towards combo because of their budget.
No, I agree with you. I think you need someone back there to be a backup. And like if Drew Holiday wasn't exactly needed right now, if he was on a worse team, I feel like Drew Holiday would be the guy to back him up, or possibly Darren Collison. I would like to see Collison moved over there because we've seen him be very effective, and I don't know exactly what the Pacers would want from him if they're able to hawk up a couple draft picks.
I mean, they already got a connection going already, so you might as well keep around that alley.
Maybe they bring back Depot. Oh. He's a combo guard.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about the Oklahoma City Thunder down in the comments below. Who, if they should trade for anybody, who should they trade for? And also, just looking at them, are you worried about the Oklahoma City Thunder? Is it just too much talent on one team? Kind of what my worries about the Cleveland Cavaliers was. You got a lot of talent, but it's not cohesive talent.
Right.
Do you think that is a problem with the Oklahoma City Thunder, or is it just 10 games too early to tell? I feel like it's 10 games too early, but I feel like there are some weaknesses in this team. Clearly. Dave is just saying that it's too early to call whether there is a weakness or not, but let us know what you think down in the comments below.